Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Baking Diva. And a big thank you to all my new subscribers. I really appreciate your support. Today, I'm kind of veering away from baking just for a few minutes because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I have a very special guest with me today, my daughter, Dawn.
Hi!
Isn't she beautiful? Well, breast cancer and breast cancer prevention is something very near and dear to both our hearts. And we thought if we come on here today and we just help one person, whether it's through prevention or maybe it's someone who has cancer and they will feel better after watching this video, if we can just help one person, we'll feel that this video is worthwhile. So I'm going to have a conversation now with Dawn. I'll give you a little background on my daughter before she speaks. First of all, it's very, very hard to get her here on camera. Right, Dawn?
Yes, that's very difficult.
She's a very busy lady. First of all, she's a mom of 2 boys, and one of them's a teenager. Need I say more, Dawn? No. She's a wife. She's a school teacher, elementary school art teacher. Mm-hmm. She's a soccer mom, chauffeur, a basketball mom and chauffeur, baseball mom and chauffeur. So I've been trying to get her over here to do a video with me, and there's just never any time. But this was something important, and I knew it would be important to her. So she's here, right, Dawn?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so let's get started with our mother-daughter conversation on breast cancer. First of all, I'm going to let Dawn talk a little bit about when she first went for her routine mammogram. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, so as all of us ladies know, when you turn 40, that is your little signal that it's time to go get your first mammogram. So I did that exactly as I was supposed to, and it was no big deal. Carried on with my life. It was in, I believe, November of 2012 that I went to have that done, and then I got a phone call that they thought they saw a little something on the film. So just come back in, let's do an ultrasound. They weren't overly concerned. And then I had that done, and then they were still seeing a little something, so they wanted to do a biopsy. So I went back in and I did that, and then I was waiting about 10 days, I guess, for that result to come back. So
and Dawn sounds very calm now, but for all of you out there that may be going through this, right, Dawn? She was not calm.
No,
she was calling me saying, they haven't called me with results yet. And I'm really nervous, and I kept trying to be the understanding, compassionate mom, and I said to her, don't worry, they're probably busy. They'll get back to you.
And they did keep telling me that they really didn't think it might not be anything, so I sort of was just hoping everything would be okay. And then they called me to come in for my results on November 21st. 2012. I remember it very specifically because it was the day before Thanksgiving and I had a half day at school. So I made arrangements to go right after school, and I figured let me just run in and get those results and then I can go get ready for the holiday weekend. And of course those results didn't go as planned.
So it wasn't a great Thanksgiving that year.
No, it was not. So I did the usual. You start crying when they tell you, and you get upset, and then they try to calm you down. And of course now I'm worried because my kids are in aftercare from school and I need to pick them up. However, I didn't want them to know because at the time they were very young.
How old were they?
Well, let's see, 6 years ago. Yeah. So Jake was 9 and Aaron was only 6. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want them to know anything about it. So luckily my parents jumped in and went to pick them up and get them out of the way so I could come home and calm myself down.
And cry.
And cry again.
Yeah. But that's
and
okay.
all that stuff. So that's where it all began.
Right. So. And then from there it was meeting with a surgeon. Now, your surgeon was great, right,
Oh, yes,
Dawn?
yes.
I mean, I think that's important, to have somebody you really have faith
Yes.
in and you trust, right? Wasn't she great?
Yes, her name was Dr. Azu. She was wonderful. Great bedside manner, makes you feel very calm and really cares about her patients. And I think that's the best thing you need to get the ball rolling so that you're not getting overly anxious and scared. And she was very calming for me.
That was good, yeah. So you actually, I think, didn't Dad and I go with you when you met with her the first time? Or maybe the second time?
Thought it was
can't
just
remember.
You
Oh, it
went
was
with
just
me.
me? Oh, that's right.
I
You're
don't
right.
think the cameraman.
No, the cameraman didn't go. That's right. No, I went with you the first time, and she was going to go over all your different options.
Options, yes.
So, what were some of the options
Well,
she gave you at that time?
The main option really was to just have a lumpectomy, which means they go in and just remove the cancer cells from you, and then 6 weeks of radiation. So I said, okay, I can do that. That doesn't sound too bad. But then as the conversation went on and we started going through family history, and then we discovered that my mom's sister, Rosemary, had breast cancer years before that, but was diagnosed very late in the game.
She passed away.
And she had passed away.
She was only in her 40s, yeah.
So once we shared that with the doctor, then the whole conversation shifted that if there's a family history that I should be tested with this new thing they were doing called the BRCA2 test. And it was very new. I'd never heard of it. But it'll basically let you know if you're carrying a breast cancer gene, which will make your recurrence chances really, really high.
Right, and for those of you that maybe need to have this test to see if you carry the gene, wasn't the test simple to one?
Oh, yeah.
What did you have to do? I was amazed.
You have to go to a very specific place to have it done. Only certain people do it, but it's really simple. They give you a little bottle of mouthwash, and you have to swish it around for a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
And then you just spit it into this little tube, and they mail it out to like the Midwest. There's only like one lab or something that tests this for you. So mine did come back positive as me carrying that gene. So then
the whole subject
the
changed.
whole
At that
conversation
point,
changes because now my chances of it coming back were very high. So Dr. Azu recommended that I do a bilateral or double mastectomy and just remove all of my breast tissue so that I could have a much lower chance of anything coming back. And to be quite honest, normally I'm very wimpy and
yeah,
cry
a little
I
wimpy.
cry very easily, but I didn't care. I just said, whatever you want me to do, let's go. I have 2 kids at home that need me, and I work, and I'm a teacher, and I just need to get back to my normal life.
I was absolutely amazed. She's a little wimpy, not a lot wimpy. She's emotional. She said she takes after me,
Yes.
but I don't know.
Well-
But I was amazed because the strength that I saw in her was beyond compare. You know that. I mean, she just made up her mind immediately. She looked and she said, I want to live, right?
Yeah.
And she made up her mind that she was going to have this surgery and she was going to get better. And I really admire her for that. So go on.
Yeah. So she said, okay, let's start making all of the arrangements. And unfortunately, it was the holidays. We had Thanksgiving, we had Christmas and New Year's, and not much goes on during that time in surgery land. So
Surgery land.
I had to sort of wait until January, which felt like an eternity because I just wanted it to be done. And I knew the recovery was a little involved. But January 15th, I believe, was my surgery date.
I think so.
And I went in and I was surprisingly pretty calm. Waking up, a little different, but...
You were calm. She called us, I think it was from the hospital room, before they took you down for surgery, and her husband, Jason, was with her, and she was smiling, and I'm thinking, wow, she's pretty calm for this, but I think once you make up your mind and you do what you have to do, what is that saying? I forget. Something about being strong. You know, you're strong until...
Well, you never know how strong you are.
Until, yeah.
I forget.
Yeah.
That.
Until there's no choice but to be strong. But anyway.
Right. And went in, and it was a very long 6 or 7 hour surgery.
Yeah.
And then you wake up, and you're got a lot of recovery. I'm not gonna lie. It took me several months to recover from that.
Now your surgery, you had the double mastectomy because I remember you said I'm going to go for the bilateral because she didn't want to be worried that down the road it might spread to the other breast. So right, you just said,
well, that, and if we're being frank here, I had to get implants put in. And I really wanted both of my breasts to be the same. And I think they're a little different looking when one is natural and one is not. So I just figured, let's do it all. And it's a safer decision. And in the long run, everything looks as you want it to. And you feel better about yourself.
And you had a great plastic surgeon.
I love my plastic surgeon.
He came from Beverly Hills before he came here, right?
I love him. Dr. Shalfoon. He is the best.
Yeah, he's really good. He looks he has that look about him of a Beverly Hills.
He wears a three-piece suit.
Plastic surgeon.
Every time he sees you.
Has long hair.
But he gives you a hug, and he's so motivating. And he actually, one time, asked me if I would speak to one of his patients that was very upset and scared and nervous, and he said that I was so positive that he asked me to help him out. So I actually got to speak to somebody, which made me feel really good that I was helping somebody else, and to calm them down and understand that everything will be okay in the end.
And you've done that for many other people since then.
Yes, that's true.
The doctors have asked her, because of her attitude going through all of this, they had asked her if she'd speak to other people. And breast cancer is so
very
widespread.
It's common now. It's really common. So you have to get that mammogram, because if I think back and I say to myself, if I had waited 6 months, because I'm busy, I might not be sitting here having this conversation.
That's true.
So you just never know. Like, don't put it off. Just go and get it done, because you're just saving your own life. And you got to think about all the other people that need you. Your children, your spouse, your friends, your family.
Hey, mommy.
You want to live a long life, so don't be lazy.
Right.
Get it done, because
So you had your surgery, and then you moved in here.
Yeah, I stayed here for a week.
Because you were here longer than a week. Oh yeah. You were here like about 3 weeks, I think. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes, you were on drugs. You didn't realize.
I remember.
She didn't realize how long she was here.
I was on a lot of painkillers at the time, because when you come out of surgery, you're wrapped very, very tightly and very uncomfortable. You have drains coming out of you, and the drains were very, very painful. And you have to empty the drains, and there's a lot of medication you take. And I remember eating while being all drugged out and trying to eat over my bowl while I'm falling asleep. But the drugs, listen, don't try to be tough. Just take the medication. Don't say, I don't take meds and I'm going to tough it out. It isn't worth it. I felt like $1 million when I took that medication. So
she's like, give me the meds.
I was a little disappointed when I ran out, because then I had to go on to like Tylenol, which is like taking an M&M. So I was very excited to have all that stuff to make you feel better, because I'm not going to lie, it's very uncomfortable, and you can only sleep on your back, you can't roll over, so it takes a lot of getting used to.
Yeah.
But we did it.
So she was here for 3 weeks, and not only her kids moved in here, her husband moved in here. Her husband Jason would go back and forth every once in a while, because he had taken some time off from work, but then when he had to go back to work, he was shifting back and forth.
And I have to say, I got through this so much better because of all the family.
You need support. Don't try to go through these things by yourself.
And I'm lucky I had a place to come. My husband took a leave of absence from work, and lots of family and friends that were cooking meals for me and just doing wonderful things to help my recovery. So you really need to have a good, stable group of people that can help you.
It was amazing. With being a school teacher, the school that she teaches at, they ran a fundraiser for you, right? And then they had, what was that day they had?
They called it their pink day. And everybody wore pink to school, and I didn't know they were doing it. And they had a big breakfast up in the teacher's room, and they did what's called a denim day. we do this a lot in my district. We wear jeans for different causes, not just breast cancer, but they did a huge district-wide collection of money, and they raised thousands of dollars for me because I wasn't working.
They were wonderful.
My sick days ran out, and that's when you get more nervous about the financial end of when you're recovering and you run out of money from your paycheck and you need help.
Yeah, she wasn't ready to go back to teaching when the sick days wore off. So didn't some of them donate their sick days to you?
Yes, we have a sick bank, it's called. So I was able to collect like 40 sick days that I was able to use. So that was a huge help.
Right. And then not only was the school wonderful, but the town Dawn lives in is a wonderful town, and her kids play sports, and the schools have, what is that, about the meals?
They did, it was done two different ways. It was done through my kids' elementary school as well as the sports teams that they were on. They were kind enough to do their own little meal plan for me. So I had it coming from two different things, where all the families will sign up and they just drop food off at your house every night. And
how long were you getting meals for? Months?
I was getting, I don't remember. It was
a long time.
But it went on for a long time because the thing is, when you have a bilateral mastectomy, the way that you are after, you can't move your arms like beyond this for months. So I couldn't shower by myself. I couldn't wash my hair. I couldn't cook. I couldn't lift anything, bigger than this for months because you were taking a chance of tearing something. And so you're really just kind of immobile and you need help. So
yeah, I remember when you were here, you wanted so badly to wash your hair. So the cameraman got a big garbage bag, one of those big hefty bags that you use outside for leaves, right? And you cut a hole in it, cameraman.
Yeah.
And we put it over her head, and then we held her while she kind of tried to go forward on the sink and washed her hair. And then, well, I was trying to blow dry her hair. That was hysterical. No, she didn't like the way I was. She actually has very curly hair.
Big hair.
I have straight hair with no volume. This one has curly hair. When she was younger, she used to let it go curly, and then everybody had the big poofy hair, and now she straightens it, and she's a glamour girl. But anyway, it wasn't easy in the beginning. Her husband was great. I mean, we had a chart during the night after your surgery, and we had everything written down because you had to be on that medication at certain times. So we would have to give it to you during the night.
Well, that and also the drains. You have to empty them every so many hours, measure how much fluid is in it, take your temperature to make sure you don't have a fever. And my husband was always on night duty. He would come in all through the night and help me out. And then I know my dad would help out by driving the kids to school in the morning so that Jason could get a little bit of sleep because he would be up 3 or 4 times during the night with me. And it wasn't easy.
No. We're not trying to scare anybody.
No, not at all.
We're trying to be realistic. This is a realistic conversation about breast cancer, prevention, and more. So we'll get into that. I usually don't try to make my videos this long, but I think this is an important subject, and I think there are many people out there that would be interested in hearing about it. So after Dawn, one thing I want to say, it was amazing. My doorbell was ringing constantly while Dawn was here. She was in a spare bedroom upstairs, right, Dawn? That bedroom looked like, I don't know what.
Flowers and cookies and
brownies and candies and little statues, and I can't imagine it. Every day the doorbell would ring. Prayer shawls, and really, it was unbelievable.
I'm very lucky that the people I work with are very generous and caring, and we're a very tight-knit group. And then my son Jake, his soccer team was also just above and beyond because one of my son Jake's teammates, his mother also had breast cancer. So there were 2 kids on the team going through this, and all of those moms were always doing things for me, like this soccer ball over here.
Look at this.
After I recovered,
pink soccer ball.
The whole team signed their names and gave one of these to me and to the other mom, Maureen.
And there's a little pumpkin.
At Halloween, they gave us a pumpkin with all the names. Just something, a gesture so small like this really makes you feel special.
And all the boys
cared
would
about.
wear pink socks.
Yes.
They would all wear pink socks during their soccer game. And my brother and his wife would pop in during the day to visit with you. It was really nice.
It made the recovery so much
If you
easier.
have a lot of support, that means everything, the support. So anyway, we went there from your surgery to your recovery. I think after she was here about 3 weeks, she went home, but she still needed all that help home.
Yeah, it got a lot easier because I had to wait a certain amount of time to get implants put in. I had these expanders, and listen, the expanders stink. They're uncomfortable because
Terrible.
they inflate them with saline. They're not comfortable. You get used to it. But you have to have those in you for a certain amount of time before they can exchange. They call it an exchange. Take those out, put in your implants. And I got implants. They were really cool. They were new on the market. They were called gummy bear silicone implants.
Oh, yes.
They
We
were
went with
very
her
new
to
to the market. No, Daddy went with me.
Daddy went with you the first
And I made
time.
him test them out. I said, here, hold this one. This one's saline. Help this one. And we were laughing because
And there
it
was
so
the cameraman, right?
ridiculous.
Squeezing the
Yes.
boobies.
And we both agreed that silicone was the way to go. It feels a little more natural
Yeah.
and not so much like a water balloon.
Yeah.
So I had, a few months later, I had that whole surgery done. That surgery was a lot quicker and that wasn't as big of a deal.
You had to wait, though,
recover.
a certain period of time,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
What was it, 3
A couple
months?
of months.
You can't have it done right away.
Right. I was going to have it done, I think, 4 months later, but then one of my expanders ruptured. And they said, okay, let's just do it now. So I got to get it done a couple of weeks earlier. But
Yeah.
that was it. And then I finally got back to normal living and going back to work and all that stuff.
What I wanted to interject there is when Dawn was tested for the gene and she tested positive, they will tell you that obviously she had to get that gene from either her mother or her father. And they suggest that the mother be tested first. So I went to the same place as Dawn did and got tested for the gene, and lo and behold, I tested positive for the gene. So I don't have breast cancer so far, thank God, but they want to keep a, what do you call it,
Well, they want to
their eye on me,
Right.
you know.
They want to have all their ducks in a row for a family history.
Right.
Because also with the BRCA2, I had my ovaries taken out because there's a link to ovarian cancer. So I had that done too while I was on my leave. And I had that done. If you remember, it was a big thing on the news about Angelina Jolie.
Oh, at that
and
time,
how
yeah, she
she's
was doing
BRCA2 and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. I had it done first, Angelina, way before you. I'm just not famous. So just remember that. Angelina wasn't the first person to have that test done.
You tell them, Dawn.
There's a lot of
You
us
tell
little
them.
people in the world that had it done
Yeah.
and didn't get any recognition for that. But that's all right.
That's okay. But anyway, I have to go every 6 months. So they want me to have a breast MRI and then 6 months later, my mammogram. So they are checking on me every 6 months. So if God forbid something should occur, early prevention, right?
Yes.
They catch it early and they treat it because breast cancer is curable.
Very, very high
Right.
curing rate if you catch it early. That I caught mine very, very early, so I was lucky. Some people aren't that lucky. So.
That happened to my sister. My sister was only 40. And I took her for a regular physical, and the doctor called me out and said, you know, can you come in here? I want to talk to you. And she told me my sister had a very hard mass in her breast. And I'm like, what? Because my sister had a learning disability. And she worked and everything, but the cameraman and I took care of her for many, many years after my parents passed away. So she didn't really realize that there was anything in there. And by the time we caught it and we took her for the testing and we took her for the surgery, it was pretty big. So she had a single mastectomy, and it was caught too early. It wasn't early detection.
It was caught too late.
Yeah, and it had
That's early.
metastasized to her brain. And so she lived for maybe about 5 years, I think, after she was diagnosed. And then my fraternal grandmother had breast cancer. She had it for a very long time, and she was older, so she had it before they even did radiation, and mammograms and things like that. So because there is a family history, that's why Dawn decided to make her decision, and that's why I do what I have to do. So anyway, after that, I want to say, here's living proof that you can survive after breast cancer.
Something else I wanted to mention to you, when I said earlier that I had my ovaries taken out for being BRCA2 positive, that does throw you directly into menopause, which is sometimes more challenging to me than the actual surgery I had, because there's a lot of hot flashes with menopause, and I was put into what they call forced menopause about 10 years too soon. So I will be suffering with this for quite a long time to come. However, you do what you do to stay alive. But whether I had my ovaries taken out or not, they do put you on preventive medication even though the mastectomy is only a 3% chance of breast cancer coming back, they still put you on medication, and it's based on whether you are in menopause or not in menopause. So because I was technically in menopause, they put me on post-menopause medication. They put me on something called Arimidex, which I could not tolerate at all. I was swelling up and a lot of joint pain, and that was difficult. So then they put me on something else, I think it might have been called Femera, and I had the same problem. So then the doctor said, well, since you're young and your cancer was very, very early, we're going to put you on the premenopausal medication, which is called tamoxifen. That's very, very common.
Yeah.
Most women take that.
I was going to say that's what most people
Right.
are aware of.
And they originally said you take it for 5 years, and then as long as you're doing well, you can go off of it. But now studies have shown they want you to take it for 10 years, which normally I wouldn't mind.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
they want you
I
to
just
take
found
it.
that out at my last appointment. However, tamoxifen and ovary removal does cause severe hot flashes and weight gain. So unfortunately, I'm a little heavier than I used to be. But like I said, it's the price you pay to be alive. So don't be discouraged if you have to take these medications and you gain weight, because you probably will. So you have to just be really careful. And I try to watch what I eat to try to get myself a little bit back to where I used to be. But the medication you take is really important, because that's going to keep everything away from coming back later in life.
Right. And they also suggested to me that I'm older, I don't need my ovaries anymore, and because I test positive for the gene, that I should have my ovaries out. So I figured I'd follow in Dawn's footsteps, and it was an easy procedure. It was a laparoscopic, and not planning on having any more children at the diva's age. So I went and I had my ovaries taken out as a prevention. So prevention is important. And for all my beauty divas out there that have started keto, I wanted to bring this up. Dawn tried keto. Now she's with a mom who's baking all the time. But you've been on keto, and your husband, and you've lost weight. How much did you lose?
We started it back in last January, the two of us. We do it together, and I lost 20 pounds. And it was not easy, because when you take that medication, it's like climbing an uphill battle. I think I would lose weight faster if I wasn't taking that medication and if I still had my ovaries. However, I did get 20 pounds off, and I've been able to keep it off. I'd like to lose a little bit more, and then I'll feel like I was back to where I started, but I'm happy with where I am for now. It's, one day at a time.
And Dawn, I want them to know, who don't like to eat all my desserts, you do take a cheat day a week, right?
Oh, I do. Lately, I've been taking 2 cheat days, which is probably not good, which is why I'm stuck at 20 pounds. But yes, I enjoy life every Saturday. I just eat whatever I want, because life is short, and you can't be on a diet 7 days a week.
It's hard.
So,
you don't stick to it. It's very difficult. They say it's a way of life, but
it's hard.
it's very hard.
And I have a
It's
sweet
very hard.
tooth, so it's really hard.
So I bring goodies over there. The kids devour them. And Dawn looks at them and waits for her cheat day to eat them.
Yeah. This wasn't a good week for me, because there was a lot of things going on that I had to bake things for, so I cheated a little too much.
And now the holidays are coming.
Yeah.
It's hard. But anyway, so that's good.
Yep.
All right. to everyone that helped her and supported her through this journey. That tell them what you did to thank everyone. This was, and I'm going to insert some pictures in the video so you can see.
When I reached my 1 year of being cancer-free, I planned a big pink party, I called it. And I invited everyone I could think of that helped me, whether they cooked me a meal, drove my kids to school, any little thing that they did to make my life easier. We rented a hall, and I told everybody, wear pink. We decorated everything pink. I had a big pink candy bar for people to make goodie bags, and we had a DJ, and we did raffle tickets with pink prizes, and it was just a big celebration to say thank you to everyone for making my life better. And I was also celebrating that I had conquered something, you know, pretty terrible in my life. This is actually a picture of me, my husband Jason, and my son Jake.
He's so little there.
And Aaron. They were young because this was 5 years ago. But this was us at the party, and my kids are very big breast cancer advocates now. Jake and his friend organized a pink basketball fundraiser night at their school, and they donated $500 to the Chilton Breast Center.
And guess who made all the goodies to sell? Well, almost all of them.
We did a bake sale.
Oh my God, I was making cookies and candies and everything. My house was filled with it, right?
Yeah.
But it was worth it. All the kids came on their lunch hour when they were in the cafeteria.
Yeah, we raised a lot of money. And then when Aaron got older, he did a pink kickball game with a friend of his at school, and they did the bake sale. And they always wear pink. They always have their t-shirts. And I think it taught them a lot of compassion for other people. So something terrible brings you around to something good. Because I learned to appreciate life, don't sweat everything so badly, and life's really not as bad as you think it is when you have things going on. And then I think it brought my kids around to being just better human beings.
That's right. I agree 100%. Makes everybody realize, you know, when something like that happens, that, you know, life is short. And you have to enjoy it
and do things that you want to do, and don't put things off.
Don't put them off, you know. There'll be like, Dawn has so many games they go to, between soccer, basketball, and baseball. Sometimes she gets home from work, and I'll talk to her, and she's so tired, and I'll say, Dawn, you know, it's not a big deal. You can miss one of the games. Just
but it is.
Stay home and rest. But she doesn't want to hear it. She said since she was diagnosed with the breast cancer, right?
You don't want to miss anything. And it's worth being tired to watch my kids, because all of my friends who have older kids now, they say to me, it's going to be over, you're going to miss it, and you're going to be sitting on your couch with nothing to do for many, many years, so get out there and be involved with your kids' lives. And I am. And yeah, I'm tired, but I don't care, because I love watching my kids play, and it's also social time for me with other parents.
This is a social butterfly we have here. I think she takes after her mother in that respect.
So unless you've been in this situation, sometimes I don't think everybody quite understands things that you get out of it. And I got out of it. Go and do all the things you want to do. There's always time to sleep later.
That's true. So is there anything we forgot to tell them?
I don't think so. I think
if anybody has any questions for Dawn, put them in the comments column down below, and I will be happy to pass them on to Dawn. Maybe she can answer them for you. She's very good at speaking to people, like I said, that maybe were just diagnosed, that are fearful. She has a way to calm them down. And since you've already been through it, you can tell them, you know, what to expect. And like I said, this video wasn't to frighten everybody.
No.
This video, the purpose of this video was to tell you how important it is to go get your mammograms. Don't put them off, because really, they could save your life, right? They saved her life. This is living proof of it over here. And if you're faced with having to have a surgery, yes, it's fearful, but be strong and just do what you have to do, because in the long run, it's really worth it. So if you enjoyed listening to Dawn talk about her breast cancer journey, give me a thumbs up on this video. Feel free to make comments, any comments, in the description box. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, go down below and hit that red subscribe. And there's a little bell next to it. Hit the bell, and you'll get a notification whenever I put a new video up. So, from Dawn, moi, and the cameraman, we wish you a happy Sunday.
And a happy Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Exactly.
The month of October.
We say, think pink. Right, Dawn?
Yeah.
Think pink. Okay.
All right.
Mwah. Toodles, everyone.
Bye.